something. They're always so slow.
Very bad, boys. Very bad.
It's time for Power Hour.
Just close the fucking door. Close the door.
Hello, traders. Welcome to the live stream, the dump stream, the everything reversal stream after a tremendous piece of price action we got on NVIDIA that virtually was the tide that lifted all ships. That ship sailed into a brick wall, it seems like, and has capsized, and the remainder of the market is sinking. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at Bitcoin that no bids, an OG Bitcoiner from like 2011 or whatever, sold it all. He offloaded literally every Bitcoin he had. He cashed up. Congratulations to that guy, but you can't imagine that it's going to look good for Bitcoin in these market conditions. So I can only tell you the most recent discernible event on Bitcoin is market participants have, at the highs of day, confirmed what was once a support resistance. It is now confirmed resistance. So amazing follow through price action you're getting after losing the level, confirming it as resistance. Now seeing levels, prices on Bitcoin not seen since April 21st. It's going to be the Aprils for a while because April was the bottom. So April 6th. So you'd have to fall below $74,300 to say lowest level since
not worried about
November.
The markets with those kind of shoulder games. TNDM, please. Thanks.
What's up, Jason, man? Thanks so much for the $20 contribution, the very kind words. Appreciate it, man. Well, if I don't have shoulders like this, I want a refund because I've had a personal trainer for 2 years, okay, holding me accountable, making sure I'm at the gym. So, yeah, again, price I had to pay. So, yep, it would be crazy to not have gains at that point. So, thank you, dude. Anyway, TNDM, yeah, diabetes doesn't care about the drawdown because it's up today. There are a few up today. I mean, you look around enough, you'll find something. Walmart's blowing up, dude. Walmart's up 7%. You kidding me, dude? Rivian survived a little bit. But this is like the main story of the day, I guess. Bitcoin, man. The market driver, the largest crypto market cap asset in the world, kind of losing that channel we've had for a while, losing the demand line for now, right? 3 hours, 44 minutes. They could easily recover this when Wall Street closing bell occurs in 44 minutes. So, I mean, it always looks so bad, you know, then you get shadows, you get the wicks, the rallies off the lows, and maybe they hold it. But yeah, I don't trust it. I don't think anyone in the world should be trusting a demand line of a channel like this because the horizontal line support resistance is way more important. And just to be real, where you are right now, there's nothing till 78,000 and change.
You're the man, Mitch.
Exodus did it too, man. Wow. I mean, what are we up? 35+% in 2 days at this point. It was crazy. Exos and TNDM. All right, not bad. A little Rivian there too. It also had that framework, but not all made the cut, okay? Not all could be Varsity athletes. So most of the market went back to junior Varsity. They might be on the bench. So yeah, the index fund's kind of a little worrisome. We had been discussing like the scenario of like what you don't want to see, and if today it might be one candle where it was the scenario where we didn't want to see it. So very bad here on Bitcoin. We can run to Ethereum real quick. It's bad. They have broken critical supports. They really have. There's not, I mean, you could say, oh, dude, but May 1st, 2024, July 2024, they held this level. Maybe, okay, 2,800, but never before. Never before. The reversal point was literally May of 2021 at 2889. So that was the initial one I saw. And then supports, you know, September 2021 at 3K. So that was the original. And I think everything correlated to that after the fact. But yeah, dude, okay, 2,800. If you want to overdose on hopium, by all means. More hopium you could smoke on, I guess, is like, all right, we were looking at this yesterday where the 1618 was right here. That's the max threshold of the price reversal zone of the bullish butterfly, potential bullish butterfly. There's never been a reaction, right? It's not real yet. They have taken it to the harmonic optimum price at 192, but that means like, right, it has to bounce now. Literally, Bitcoin has to bounce above my head. You see it, that 4 hour, that channel demand line. It has to bounce now. Otherwise, this is completely invalid, and you're going to go straight to $2,400. So this is a make or break for any sort of wave structure. The wave structure served us very well in targeting, like, an understanding like how bad things were and where things could wind up. Well, now we're at the maximum threshold of that badness, which is telling. That's strong momentum for sellers. They got it all, dude. So, okay. Direct Ethereum, lowest level seen since July. Lower than it was over 4 years ago. Gross. Okay. Ethereum, let's go to XRP. Very close, man. Very, very close to target 2 of the short trade setup back from October 28th, around 262, 260. Target 1, 219, and now after that little bear market rally, that lowest high of downtrend, failure from buyers to test 200 moving average, test the resistances, you rolled over, and here you are, just 196. We got as low as 197.2. My God, we were so close. This is the promised land. This is where we're looking for it to run to, and then we will, we'll wait for it to get violated. Maybe they recapture it, reconfirm it. It's going to take weeks, if not months, for us to develop any sort of bullish edge here. And if anything, understand, if you lose 190, yeah, okay, a couple scam wicks to 170, 160, sure, maybe, but bro, you're talking like a dollar or less if you lose this level. So we're just approaching a target area for where short sellers might cover their position. I figured in power hour, after such nasty dumping today, maybe some short sellers, day traders might take profit now, maybe now or in the last 30 minutes, so in about 10 minutes, maybe that we'll see some sort of short covering, which is where they buy back the shares. Therefore, the price might rally a little bit off the lows. We'll pay attention to that, but just miserable, but nothing unexpected or weird about XRP. It's been in a downtrend, lower highs, lower lows, and has shown no evidence of more than before, no accumulation, nothing. So it would be surprising if XRP was somehow gonna rally above 272 anytime soon. It didn't. It's just respecting the TA virtually. So good trend analysis on this one. Okay, gross. 50 shades of gross. But dude, what about $5.89? Yeah, maybe we got to go to $1 first. I don't know. 190 anyway. All right, let's go to BNB. Whatever, just looking at it. It's not performing that bad, really, because remember, these are the ones that liquidated every single leveraged account that existed on Earth in crypto. They are the ones that did that, so I would imagine they have the ability and means to prop up their own S-coin. So, yeah, dude, 878. Only hitting the lowest price since the liquidation event. Before that, maybe early September. So, okay, cool, dude. Congratulations, frauds. Okay, let's go do Solana, down 2%, which is kind of interesting, right? This pattern completed. It hit its harmonic optimum price. It hit key 130. And after all the badness, all these bad things going on today, it only lost the gains and it's just holding above support, holding at that harmonic optimum price, holding above support. So really, no problems on Solana yet.
Gomi tip $25. We don't care unless it's screen cancers or fixed diabetes. Can we look at CLF weekly? Thank you for educations. Much love.
Hey, Gomi, man, thanks for the 25. We'll certainly look at that. The asset you requested, which was CLF Cleveland Cliffs or whatever. Didn't it fall off a cliff, or it didn't and then it did again? Yeah, I'm trying to remember. So interesting on Solana, where like, hey man, Bitcoin's just beaten down. Maybe they do hold that demand line. Who knows, right? If they did rally it though, that's great for Solana, because I mean they'd have to fall through 123 to get to the nasty zone. So for now, still performing okay against everything else. Still above supports, still valid harmonic, but how can you trust anything in this market right now? It's very tough. There's no forms of confirmation. We're still waiting on a true reaction. We have gotten no reaction, so this is still not even a real pattern yet. You'd have to get some sort of 159 test, or a run maybe to that level to confirm it as a real structure. But for now, it's just they're holding it. Okay, cool, but bad macro, but kind of not collapsing yet. So congratulations to Solana people. You're only down from the top from September. You're only down 48% in 62 days. Meh. Not too bad, man. All right, those are your big cryptos. Give me an audio check. Make sure we're good here. Let me know. You never know. I always have to ask. So let's go to the SPX futures, S&P 500 futures. My worry is we had been discussing the lower high put in, and now the lower low in the previous low, and now it's like that. Hopefully they come. The problem is, even if they recovered it in the coming days, if that recovery concludes lower than 68.55 to 68.81, it would be a lower high, and it would be like your third lower. It'd be like 1, 2, 3 highs, and that's rule of three stuff where resolution after classic distribution could be way lower. Like for instance, you look at the 4-hour here, and you can just see the price actions just very bad. Like, it's uncharacteristic of what we've seen at all this entire freaking summer. I'm not kidding, okay? Not one point, at no point during the recovery from the bottom in April did we see anything quite like this price action-wise, where you see a high, a sell-off, and then you see a lower high, then a lower low, and now, look, man, you have, like, lesser time scales are helpful for seeing stuff under the hood a little bit more than we can't see this on the daily, but now you see that 200 moving average. You got two peaks, substantially lower than the previous peak before it, and that's bad. I mean, that's like someone's offloading aggressively a position up here, but they have not done that at all, right? You can see it. In no point did they really do that, making very real lower lows, lower highs. It was always higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Yeah, you had a little chop here, but remember we looked at. I mean, look again. Maybe they rally it, but you see the. I think the characteristic of this is, like, at least locally you had a higher high after you had bottomed out a couple of times, a higher high, then a higher low again. But you're now making, you got the lower low coming in the previous low, which is after the lower high. I mean, that's some bad stuff right there on the S&P 500 futures, and that's the case for the NASDAQ futures. Look, it's even worse in a way because that sell-off's even more discernible. It's yeah, and really about this one that's so interesting is that augmented demand line from the bottom. Look what they've done. Look what they did. They took it up at the peak, and the old demand flips to supply and just rolls over and just covers the previous candle, bearish engulfing candle. Again, you're still going for 5-week lows. You still haven't taken out that October 10th low. Remember, that was the largest liquidation event in crypto history that day. You still haven't taken that out. So you got some more downside before that happens. But that's just, again, 1, 2, maybe 3 peaks here. It's not good price action, and it's not price action we've seen at all this entire spring, summer into autumn uptrend. It's now doing different stuff that you don't want to see. That confirmation high 1 and 2 here, lower than this high. Man, that's bad. That's rough, dude. Okay, so just I'm not making calls here. I'm showing you price action, and it represents things. Price action certainly represents what the psychology of the buyers and sellers have, what they're doing. Okay, yeah, we could look at the whatever. I haven't even looked at the Dow Jones today. I've been paying attention to S&P and NASDAQ. I mean, down, going for your lowest daily close since October 10th, 5-week lows. But not as bad. Not quite as bad because you've got, some defensive stocks in the US 30 or the Dow Jones. But still working on a bearish engulfing candle and still working on 5-week lows on the close. Okay, and then your small caps, your Russell 2000 futures real quick. Make sure we're okay. Chat, we good on audio? Audio's good. Audio's okay. Only one person gave me audio check. Okay, yeah, we got a few more that said it's good. Okay, thank y'all. Just making sure. Yeah, really, really bad on the small caps, man. This is like they tested the demand line of the channel as resistance. They have another day of testing 2368 as resistance. If you remember March 2021's peak right there, and now you're below even the 2350 mark. Very bad. I mean, that's yeah. Send it lower, man. Send us to the 200 at 2150. Yeah, that's some bad stuff right there. You can look at the lesser time scales and see it. Now, look, you're trending downward, right? You're not uptrending. You weren't really doing that at any point since April. Never. Nothing like this. This is aggressive distribution. Offloading, 200 moving average, resistance, rolling over, lower high, lower low, lower high, going for a lower low. You're trending downward right now on the small caps too. So short term. Sure, I'm not saying long term, oh my God. I'm just saying short term downtrend. I don't think anyone would argue with that because of consecutive lower highs, lower lows, and below supports from history. and negative price action correlation to those levels. Okay, so those are your index funds. All right. Let's look at gold real quick. You can't even believe it. It's flat, man. At one point it was lower, but they just went for another test of 4,045 or so, 4,040 at that high from October 8th, a low from October 24th, a high from October 31st. They're just holding it, trying to defend it successfully again. Wow. So good performance on gold today. It is flat. It is immune to the sell-off we got on the other markets. And the silver down 1.4%. Above 50, above 49.85. I think you're fine for now. You lose that, yeah, then we're like in trouble, man. You lose 49.85, it's 47.90, then it's 45.70, and we'll have other things to talk about. But until the key level is broken, you're technically okay on silver. Audio Symphony. Well, that's good, man. Wow, that's crazy. Bottom ain't in, Trip Ace has said. Well, maybe for now. Maybe for Power Hour, right? Again, like when you get severe reversals and sell-offs like we saw today, you just cannot put it past those people that caused the drawdown with the selling. They could have been in day trading short mode, and they could say, I'm good. I made some good money on that play. They were maybe playing 0 day to expiration puts. They could just be they could be good. They can be satisfied with their gains today on the dump, because my God, Nvidia from the open, it's like there was no bidding. It was like opened up 6+% and then rugged all day until right around now, where they're trying to bottom it out. So all right, let's look at that. The Mag 7, how you doing, man? Maybe we should go best to worst. Best to worst. How crazy is that, the poll we did yesterday on Nvidia? Will it pump, dump, or do nothing on earnings? And it pumped. But little did they tell you, it was like the devil's poll, because it pumped, and then the next day at open completely filled the gap and went negative, and is in fact the worst performing Mag 7 today after what a good earnings, right? Tell you, man, it's a wild world out there. Okay, let's go to the least worst. Meta. Zuckerberg did not make intraday, or did not make the lowest low of the downtrend yet. That was yesterday. But you are still gunning for the lowest daily candle close since May 7th. So terrible, right? They just ran it back up to 602, 85, 600 overhead resistance, and they're just kind of confirming it as resistance. That's about it. It's still awful. No structure, still impulsing downward, still going for multi-month lows on the close. It's gross, dude. Even though it's the best performing Mag 7 of the day. What? All right, Google hit an all-time high. It's crazy, man. It surpassed Microsoft in market cap at the peak. Opened at 304.20. They took it a little bit higher. Someone probably market bought Google at 306.40, and then they just completely went for the gap fill. And they've done it successfully. And now you can see Google's price just hanging around this old candle open from October 30th, swing high from November 11th. They're just trying to defend it as support for now, and it's somewhat successful. Only down 0.42%, but it was up so much earlier. What was it? From where it opened to where it is now, down 4.37%. FOMO was killer, man. FOMO was killer. But hey, man, what can we say about any of these assets in the Mag 7? None are able to say, yeah, dude, intraday all-time high. Again, just like yesterday. Just like 3 days ago. It was an all-time high intraday. Just phenomenal performance on Google. An old trade setup. Graduated to MVP of NFL. All right, let's look at Apple. That is just phenomenal in its resilience still throughout the market tumult. They've got this thing completely pinned in this long-term uptrend, right? Nice, beautiful channel, but you can just see the consolidation since their earnings report on Halloween. It is just stuck. High and tight consolidation, slightly down sloping consolidation. Maybe they're just waiting time-wise for it to get closer to the demand line before they run it again or not. But 260 attested that would be amazing. They haven't done it yet. But still, just compared to whatever you've seen on this market, man, this is great for Apple. I know, though, dude, it was great they pushed this 275.60. It's going to close lower than it did yesterday in the past few days, maybe. So, all right. Let's look at Tesla, down 1.08%. Dude, they were going to do it. They were recapturing the key level, and then in the end, look what just another formal bearish back test of key level that needs to be support but is now resistance, and that's not good. And they've done it a couple times on November 17th and today. Like, you just can't you can't open at 414.50 the resistance from all-time highs, right, November 2021, and you cannot just fake out like that and then close lower than you did the past 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. In fact, going for the lowest daily candle close on Tesla since September 12th, you can't do that, man. So you got to be really careful here. This is not what you want to see in the short term. For impending gains, it's the inverse of that. It's the worst thing you could ever dream of for short term up. It's implying down. That's bearish price action correlation to levels. And then you look at the weekly still, it is still bad. It's still like, man, you don't want to close the week below this zone. You don't want that. You could be going for a deeper retrace. And if you do, probably going to be a buying opportunity. But you might have to wait till 350 or lower because this pattern is massive and it's beginning to play out a little bit, starting to react last week and then maybe this week. That's some bad price. You don't like that, man. That's not good. We don't like that. Okay. Tesla, again, down 1.15%. It's not too bad of a percentage down day, but the technical event that is occurring again is very bad. It's way worse than down 1%. Nope, it's awful. That is a tragedy, really. Technical tragedy. Because the little channel, too, the little structure that they broke, they're confirming that as resistance as well. Remember, if you ever want to go bull again on Tesla in the short term, buyers must recapture 415, and then they must reconfirm its validity as support. And that's not happening. And that's what we would need. Okay. Yeah, Japanese bonds with the yields, really, right? Free like summer. Thank you, dude. Yeah, we'll look at those for sure. They're hitting all the time. They're melting up. They're going nuts the past few days. All-time highs, 30 and 40-year yields. Wow. Look at Amazon. Oh, my God. I'm talking about the biggest bamboozle you've seen in your entire life. I guess a type 2 return, harmonic optimum price up here or something. Going for the lowest daily candle close since October 22nd. Going for a test of 215.85, 214.37. That is a huge deal. To lose that is like, oh, wow, see it $200. Easy. Yep, that is disappointing. But, hey, man, at any time they could bottom it out and put in the highest low. They could. Higher lows than the previous lows. Just not yet. Just nasty day. I mean, my God, dude. Amazon gapped up like everything else and just auto asking all day, down 4.3% from the highs since open. So awful. Microsoft down 1.86. This is really bad. Yesterday you caught the breakdown fall through candle, more fall through today, and you're just waiting on 467.56. It is almost all but confirmed that the Tower of Barad-dûr is being constructed by Sauron himself and disciples of Morgoth. Duh. So, yeah, nasty 6.3% weekly negative candle. And again, you still have more downside to 467. So, it's gross, man. Very gross. Market driver, 7% of the S&P's weight comes from this asset that is breaking key supports and confirming a double tap. An unironic weekly double tap. What's a measured move? You just wanted to say double tap. 11%. Oof. So the measured move of a double tap, if it's real, remember next week they could spend time running it up to back test 493 as resistance, and people think it's all good. But if it did ever measure move, 100%, 433, which is, I guess, at a swing high from September of last year. So, man, not even close yet, right? Okay, sorry that this is happening. I'm just reporting it, okay? Wow, I mean, lows of day right now, chat. Lows of day, Amazon, low of day right now. My alert just went off on Amazon. Yep. Huge drawdown. Looks like the shorts aren't covering yet, are they? Yeah, we only got 20 minutes left. Figuring typically that's where they cover. Google, low of day, alert going off, 290.30, nasty, losing that 291.65. That is a huge red candle, isn't it? Off the highest point, currently down 5.3%.
Very bad, boys. Very bad.
Yeah, man, not good.
No way. No way. What is this garbage?
All right, and now let us look at the darling of our time. What was the centerpiece of conversation and attention yesterday that was up the highest of all? The Mag 7s at open is now down the most.
Only place talking about Japanese yield. Thanks, Mitch.
Oh, really? Because that's like crazy, man. It's really bad. Thank you, Gummy. Yeah, thanks for 420. And we're going to look at the SJ&K, which has already given us like a signal that it's effed. And that's calling the SJ&K has been calling tops on equities markets the past 2 times. So we'll look at that and see how it's doing. My God, man. Below 183.40, uh-oh. And just look at that. That's just, what is it from the top? From the high point to low point, down almost 8%. But technically, still inside the little channel. But don't tell me that they're just going to do the, how in the world can they just do it like this? They're like, you know what, man? In one trading session, let's make a head and shoulders. Let's do it, man. All right. Paint the head and shoulders with a gap up on earnings. All right. S&P 500 futures, new lows of day. Russell 2000, lows of day. As the alerts go off. NVIDIA, again, low of day, over 3% down when it was up 6%. Wow, just nasty. One thing they did do, okay, I know it's hard to see, but the magenta line here, remember, this is the 2025 major 1.618, the golden mean ratio. They tested it once and reacted. We know it's there. They exceeded it, and now they're confirming the 1.618 as resistance maybe. And that's just like, okay, that's typically where some chop, consolidation, or drawdowns occurs. Golden mean ratios, man, I would not ignore golden mean ratio. That lets you know, hey, man, this is extreme premium on an asset to own it. Extreme. People might want to take profit on something that's hitting 1.618, exceeding 1.618, but falling back below them. So that's just wild. It's just in the end, just like that. Potential head and shoulders pattern. Are you like what? I hope not, man. I hope not. That would be the biggest bamboozling we've seen in a while, right? I'm not afraid anymore, and you will be. Okay, so good luck. Let's have an alert. Probably not, hopefully not going to go off, but down 3.16% at lows of day still, as I'm speaking to you. Everything, man. Amazon low of day. Microsoft low of day. Tesla nearing low of day. I'll have an alert there. Apple near low of day. I'll have an alert. Google low of day. I'll have another one set up. Meta not at low of day. Getting there. Still going to be a multi-month low on the close. All right. So we looked at your Mag 7s, your index funds, your top cryptos, your gold, your silver. We could look at some carnage ongoing. Now, one sec though, I do want to let's toot our horns here. Honk honk. Exhaust, baby. Remember $100. Guess what, chat? Guess freaking what? $100. Exact Sciences Corporation's up 17% today on the week, up 50%. And it was all thanks to the harmonic framework. It was a dream of all dreams. It was a dealer's choice. It was here, and then it went. Hitting that aggressive harmonic target. Above that, though, they might take profit here, but if they don't and they keep it running, 121's on deck. When will you believe in the dream? And then I know someone was requesting TNH, whatever, the other one that we had identified on the monthly. And that's a formal request, I believe. And I'll just knock that one out. TNDM. Yeah, 3.63% up on the day. But remember, we don't even care about the daily, the weekly. We only care about the monthly. And this is the dream, dude. This is what you go into lucid sleep, lucid dreaming. It's like, I can make things happen. I am the composite operator of my dreams. I would paint this. It is only it is not even the genesis. This is not even the beginning. It's up 38.7% on the month. Holding in strong with this drawdown. Hard to believe. Diabetes doing stuff. Tandem diabetes care. And then another one. Well, Rivian just flipped negative, but I still think they could even fill the gap at 1264. But I think eventually another higher low will get put in and you'll run. So, yeah, tough macro environment for any long to do anything, okay? You have to think about that. When the macro's doing this, man, you're swimming against the tide. So, the VIX, though, chat, the VIX, it's very close. 14 minutes till the daily close on Wall Street, closing bell. And you got 45 minutes or so until this VIX. It's less than that. I think the VIX... It's very close to the highest close since late April of this year. So almost getting October 16th, 17th dump we saw. You're close to it. So rallying. Yeah, the Japanese, 40-year, 30-year yield, 40, it doesn't matter. They're both doing the same thing. Look at this. I mean, they're pulling it back a little bit off the highs. I mean, it was crazy, though. 3.4%. Never seen that before. History. Day after day. Well, yesterday was history. Actually, 2 days ago was the record close. Then yesterday, record close. We're going for 3 in a row. 3 record closes in a row. And then the Japanese 40-year yield, same boat, pull back, but still at the highest levels we've ever seen as of today. You're going for the highest, going for a record close above the May 22nd high. You did the record close yesterday, sorry. Barely. And then today, another fresh all-time high. But look at that. Just straight up, man, since October 31st, November, the month of the Japanese yields. Wow. Wits, thanks again for the 20. Yeah, talking about Exos. TNDM, boom. Jason. Palantir, lows of day, chat. My alert going up on Palantir. Ooh, disgusting. 6.6% loss on the day. You fell back below the previous, the 1618 gold mean ratio. A higher high double tap, I guess. The weekly probably starting to look way worse now because of the weekly candle. My God, dude. Yeah, you want to talk about extreme psychotic levels of bearish divergence. It just never stopped. And then in the end, it was like the high, then the local higher high, just nicking overbought again. That's disgusting. That's what you want. That's specimen RSI bearish divergence right there. Now you're, sitting at the lowest relative strength reading you've seen since December of 2023. Woof. That is gnarly. And obviously the MACD histogram was like gross too. It was like, okay, we keep making highs, we're making like no positive momo on the slightly higher highs. So yeah, exhaustion definitely has presented itself on Palantir. You're going for the lowest weekly candle close in September 2nd that week, the first week of September, which isn't that big a deal. But yeah, let's just say from about 3 weeks ago down 25.69%. So in 20 days, whatever. So yeah, a lot of things unwinding violently, like in short periods of time, where you think, oh man, like 3 weeks, that's a long time. It's not. 3 weeks is not a long time for assets to be losing 50% of their value. Like the whole quantum bubble, they're seeing fresh lows today. Yeah, like QBTS, worst gainer. Yeah, see, look at that, lows of day. Heading on down to, it's at that July high. You're looking at the range 1981. You lose $20 though. That's a major psychological level. I wouldn't want to be I mean, you shouldn't be wanting to be messing with this. We literally identified the dead cat bounce. I mean, remember, if you go back to the stream November 3rd, October 31st, and we did this, and it's a 50%, that's a dead cat bounce by the book, and look at it now. Yep, bubbles pop, dead cat bounces occur, and then the cat falls down the stairs. Yep, and here we are. Still could, I mean, you could go to 1671 and it'd be an 88% retrace from the previous low to high. So anyway, yeah, bad. Micron, my God, after hitting all-time highs just a few days ago, look at it now, just down 11.11%. Make a wish, going for the lowest daily close since October 22nd. But it's not about that as much as it's just like the close in reverse, man. They gapped down out of this channel, and that was it. That was real, very real. Go that negative Momo building, and look all the whole way up. My God, if they weren't diverging the whole freaking way, it looks even crazier. Look at the relatives. Oh my God, dude, that is so insane. High, higher high, higher high, highest high, lower levels every time before eventually concluding with a RSI we hadn't seen since August 5th, which isn't that crazy due to its run, but yeah, insane. NNE, remember nano nuclear? Yep. GG no re. They hit the top of that channel, and then they put that shoulder in, and then they break the neckline about a week ago, and it's just, you're going for, I mean, you're nearing the lowest close since August, but quite possibly going for the lowest close since May. Yep. About time, man. I mean, these things have been going nuts. RGTI, more quantum, seeing new lows, waiting for at least 2144. You still got lower to go, man. Rocket Lab, another bubble unfolding, unwinding, whatever you want to say. Huge Marabazoo today, down almost 10%, going for the lowest daily candle close really since like July, and on we go. I mean, TrueAdvisor, dudes, they could never break that resistance, could they, of that pattern, and just look at it tumbling, hitting 1720, bearish back test, lower highs, now just rolling over, losing really major levels from 2020. This is disgusting. This could be going for an all-time low soon. TripAdvisor, baby. AMD still dumping. My God, I've been looking at it all day, and it's just been worse and worse. Almost down 8%. Lost the old March of last year swing high. Going for the lowest close since the earnings gap. Not earnings, but it was the whatever. They had some sort of partnership news catalyst, as they pretty much hit a 1272 fib extension at the top, the major one from the March high, 2024 high to April's low. That's pretty much, they took it there, then they confirmed a top, a lower high top, I guess, and now it's just rolling over. Yikes. ACHR, that was once a darling, literally paid my for my M5 with this setup. Well below target, the final target of the setup from Thanksgiving. It's losing support now. I mean, this is a huge deal to lose $7, $7.40. I mean, you lose that. There is nothing here till $5.49 to $5. So this could have a ton of downside potential if it truly is, if sellers really are taking out this support at $7. Okay, so just keep that in mind. They might unwind this thing. It could end up, my God, back at $4, dude. They're unwinding stuff, chat. They just are. Look at Tilray, remember this? Out of this, thank God, man. Once they lost 150, it was like, yeah, the party's over. And they're probably going to come for a type 2 at 41 cents eventually. Good God. Old LAC down 5%, but they're still keeping it propped up higher than it was a few days ago at least, but it's a nasty candle. If macro, like, craps out, I don't know. Like, it could very well be seeing 382 in time. We got less than 7 minutes until the closing bell on Wall Street. If you're enjoying the coverage of this carnage, hit that like button, that bell, that sub. Thanks so much for being here. I haven't looked at chat much because typically I know y'all just want me to do charts and be robot. AMD, I guess, could be an all-in top. Sure, maybe. Yeah, you lose that low that we were looking at from the gap. Yeah, for sure. They would probably go fill that gap. Okay, let's see. I'm just reading a little chat, man. Okay.
Lizard, 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 lizard.
Lizard. I've got the timing down on that one, don't I? All right. Yeah, so I just lots of bad today. My God, AMAT is so bad. Like, look at that. At lows of days, I'm speaking to you. You know where that went? That went to an 886, didn't it? High to low? It sure did. Look at, they nicked the 886. It's at the peak today again. Wow. Oracle, though, man. Wow. Just filled the gap and continuing lower. Remember, there's like, they're coming out. The information's coming out that the investment they made, like, whatever it was, if it was $300 billion or million, I can't remember. It's down like 74 million now. I can't remember what they did, but it was bad. And so I think the market's repricing it for that information, going for the lowest close since June. It's gross, man. Really, really gross. New gold. So you got this is a miner. This is a gold miner, and really, dude, 737. Look at this. Look at this high. All the way back. Like it's so real. The swing low from 2011, 2012, flipped to resistance in 2013. Like they are consolidating kind of bearishly now at that level, and it's like, man, you talk about stop loss above 737 and let this fill the gap at 632, break $6, and then come on down to $5. Could be a setup for downside. Yeah, looking ready. I mean, like for a big correction pullback up here. Dang, man, tons of exhaustion. Like the buyers were definitely exhausted. Each time you made a high, you made a lower level of relative strength, and you could just never really get any sort of momentum going. So we could just go on and on. At Spotify, gross, man. Like this thing's topped out, going into correction mode. Broke that double top neckline at 618. I mean, that's a double tap, man. Double tap, lower high double top, and Adam and kind of Eve-ish. And I mean, my God, there's no real support on this thing till maybe $500. So probably wait for it. Tesla low of day, chat. Alert going off. Let's go to Tesla at the lows. It's very bad, dude. This was all you needed to know. That what we saw here, it's almost, I mean, I think it's a high probability of lower due to the 17th and today. Because they're just like, yeah, we're confirming as market participants that old 414 level is no longer resistance support. It was support in October. It is now resistance again. So, mark it down. All right, Bitcoin, not really. I mean, it's holding up. You can see above my head, but it's not really catching any sort of biddage at all. But you think, like, they typically will, and outside of October 10th, when the market closed bad for equities, remember that huge red candle on the stock market? Besides that day, that was the largest liquidation event in history. When the market closed on Wall Street, that's when the carnage, you know, maybe 30 minutes to it was like an hour to an hour and 30 minutes after the closing bell is when the absolute worst thing we've ever seen in the history of crypto happened. But besides that, typically selling pressure kind of subsides a little while after the closing bell. So, but today is more in line with October 10th's price action. So I hope we don't get another major liquidation event. But let's be real, crypto liquidations are happening every hour at this point, right? I don't know who's leveraging longs, and this. It's like, when did they run out of money? That's what I want to know. Just because you just keep longing into just death, and you're leveraged on your long. You're not even trading spot. It's just crazy, dudes. So, I mean, there's just unlimited assets we could look at that are down today. BVN, my God. I mean, that thing looks like that was the attempted rally. Maybe they hold it up, you know. But, I mean, the way the gold's holding up is so strong. Intel, though, down 4+. I don't, man, dude, below 34, 46, 35.89. You could be looking at a more significant correction, a pullback here. That is a technical level that should never be ignored. It's so real as support resistance, and they're losing it now. And I think that they're confirming that they're losing it. Yeah, look at that. 2003, they're below it now. They're below the 2002 level. They're below the 1999, different times of the year, January 99. So that is such a real level, and you're trading below it right now. So I think, you could be targeting for $28 on Intel. I'm not even kidding. Or at least fill the gap, or at least go to 2880 where there was an old gap that was unfilled in August that they did kind of fill. It's like they didn't even fill the gap. They just gapped the gap, which is crazy. So that is terrible. This is the worst thing you could ever dream of on Intel. You don't want to see that. It's like Tesla. 8 seconds. 6, 5, 4. There it is. There it is. The stock market has closed. Closing bell on Wall Street has occurred. The SPY. Yeah, I'm making the argument that it would be real bad to see some sort of this, but they did that in a day. It's almost like the argument could be made that this has happened. That has occurred in one candle. So yeah, dude, not great when you put in a high, another high that's lower, and now the lowest high, and it's just all together. This is a local structure. Oh man, that was a gross close on the spider. And now, whoa, dude, did they do it? Yep. And they actually took out the October 10th low. It's the lowest daily candle close in the S&P 500 ETF since September 10th. Taking out that October 10th low. Wow. So now we're talking about 9-week lows on the close and intraday. RSI falling into 40. It sure has. It's a 35, lowest relative strength reading we've seen on the spider on the daily since April 8th. That's a long time, man. This is the worst it's been. Excuse me. Dow Jones wasn't as bad because, again, well, it ended up pretty bad. Wow, they dumped this thing into close. You lost they fell into the bearish control zone. They defended it in October, but not this time. That's the lowest relative strength reading we've seen since late April, and that's really the only time we've been in the bearish control zone. So gross here, but we talked about there's no real support till at least maybe 45. But really 45 itself, the old highs. So, okay. Not pretty. NASDAQ, disgusting. They really took it down. Lowest daily candle close since September 11th. And yeah, the channel was regarded as resistance and just dumped. Obvious bearish engulfing. And your daily RSI is in the bearish control zone. Lowest reading since early April. So some stuff going on that we haven't seen. And then I keep looking at the other one, so I'm not even really looking at this as much. I look at the futures, the US 2000 USD broke support, confirmed. So lowest RSI, wow, you're talking about 32, lowest RSI since early April, since the bottom of the crash. Okay. You know what I liked about Valera was around the 886. Oh, I love this, dude. I love that. They took it to 100, actually, 100% retrace, and they just did max drawdown today. But, yeah, it's maybe a type 2 return. Maybe. Look at the divergence you saw here. I do like to see dumpage like that when you hit sharp pattern completion zones. So, it's kind of like a wedge, isn't it? Yeah, kind of. Look, like a rising wedge. Rising wedge, kind of, maybe just a channel. It's probably just a channel, but whatever. Yeah. All right, lower to go. I mean, they're going to test 165. They lose that, and it's 150 again. But, yeah, anyway. Let's go back to Bitcoin and look at it on the big screen so we can see. You just had the lowest 4-hour candle close in many months. at least since late April. What's the relative strength on Bitcoin? Dude, oh my God. Are you doing it? Not yet. You're so close to actually taking out the RSI, the lows of the year from February 26th when we were crashing. You're close to taking that out. I'll have an alert set up on this. If we do eclipse it, I'll hear the beep. That would be something, wouldn't it? Okay, the alert's set up there. If you did lose that, it'd be the lowest relative strength reading since August of 2023 on the daily. That's crazy, dude. Extremely oversold, by the way. I mean, you're at 25 on the daily, but you're losing support too. How about that weekly? Double tap, man bun double tap. I mean, you've already hit the measured move, I believe. Hard to believe that, though. I know. Sorry, music stopped. Japanese yen accelerates the dump, but wasn't the DXY doing stuff? Wasn't it like rallying? Yeah, thanks for the 730 people tuned in. Again, if you're in here, you're just tuning in. Please hit that like button, that bell, that sub. We've been live now for about an hour. Yep, 1 hour on the dot. So look at this weekly, though. I mean, you're losing the major supports. Like there's
Greed index is at 7. It's only been at this level or lower 13 times since 2011.
My God, Jason, it's disgusting. Okay, well, hey, you know, to hear an OG Bitcoin holder since like 2011 selling all his Bitcoin, literally every single one of his Bitcoin today, I guess that would be warranted, right? So yeah, I mean, measured move of this is hit. I mean, I think it was probably around $90,000, and now the last support you had is broken. Now you got 3 days, 3 hours. I'll give you that. They could rally this. They tend to do that. They'll wick it up, but there's really on the weekly. You have to be realistic here and understand. There's like nothing till 78, 76, or even $74,000. You've lost unless they somehow defend this candle high close from March 17th. It's dubious as a support. That's it. I mean, that's where they're kind of trading at. I don't even know if they've achieved that test yet. Let's see. Candle low, the candle high close. Yeah, they did. That's exactly where Bitcoin has bounced. Or let's just say the selling has stopped right at $86,000 from March 17th. That's it, though. That's all you have. So maybe it's it, dude. Maybe that's where a bounce occurs. But you just saw, I mean, like, there's no divergence on the daily. It's like, wow, lowest level of relative strength on the daily on Bitcoin since February, not even April, February. Since this crash, that's the, wow. Okay. Ethereum's ugly too, man. Like, good. To lose this is like, it's over, dude. If you lose this 2,800 level, 2,900, I mean, there's just nothing here until $2,100 support-wise. Yeah, $2,100. Solana is the scariest chart I've ever seen. Not on the weekly, on the monthly. This might be the scariest chart I've ever seen, chat. This right here, like I get it's outperforming lately locally. It's holding above support. It certainly is. That potential harmonic is not invalid yet. But my God, dude, to look at that, it's so structurally sound. It's been in development since March of 2024. If they lose 120, it's just like it's over. Like you're going to see like $60 Solana. If you lose 120, you'll lose half your value probably really fast. So it's hard to have any optimism on Solana at all right now. You're just going to pray that they hold it and then we get another rally. But you understand, even if we caught a rally in the coming months and it concluded lower than 190, it's just another lower high that would strengthen the argument for $60 eventually. So it's a bad spot to be in on Solana. Very bad. Which has more transactions, is more active and alive than Ethereum is. I don't know if it really matters. That's right. We got to look at MicroStrategy. It completely slipped my mind. There were just so many things going on, right? I mean, what are you going to do? You're live and the market's open. It's like, let's go to MicroStrategy. I think they defended support in the end, maybe. They did. Of course they did. Like they at the lows of day were losing it, and it's like, no way. But it was down 5% the day. It was down 10% yesterday. So just a cool 15% losses. Like just a drop in the bucket, right? Down over 60% now since the summer. What are you down officially? 62% in 128 days. But now, finally, there's a one level that we've just been waiting on, and they finally achieved it. It was the high for March last year, May last year, July last year. They even broke it, and they back tested it in October last year. Dude. So you got to wait for them to violate it, maybe recapture it, reconfirm it. I mean, it would take probably a couple months for any sort of favorable bullish structure to develop. Remember, you're impulsing. In fact, you're just crashing. And that's not where we look to take longs at support. Scalpers do that, but it's a lot riskier. It's a lot higher risk. And where's your target? Like when bids come in at supports like this initially, you just have no idea. You're on borrowed time. You have no idea when the bidding will conclude and a retest will occur. Those almost always occur. And then you don't know if the seller momentum might be so strong that they test it again and fail and it just breaks and you head straight to 120. I mean, that is your target below 174. 120, that swing low from July last year, that's it. And then below that's really like $100. So everyone have their alerts set up at like 171. You hear that beep, it'll be the lowest levels we've seen since October last year. Over 13-month lows, and it will also be a huge bearish breakdown. So very bad. Yeah. Oh, and then remember Bitminer? Remember Tom Lee? Bitcoin $250,000 by end of year or something, whatever he said. Down 10.83%. Destroyed the 200-day simple moving average like it was nothing. And there's just nothing here, really. Maybe $17 if you're lucky, but it's just pulling a MicroStrategy, a MetaPlanet. It's got a lot lower to go, chat. Just understand that. Tom Lee's down over $3 billion. What are like $3.5 billion losses now on his Ethereum purchases? Because their Bitmine is some sort of Ethereum treasury company, right? And there are other ones too. ASST, how'd that one do? I think this one's already collapsed, but it continued to collapse, down 6.4%. Remember, this is like, how can it get any worse? Well, they could go fill the gap easily at 58 cents from May. After that, yeah, dude, good luck. I know MetaPlanet, like it got obliterated yesterday, so I think they finally aren't. Yeah, it was up 2% today, 3%, but like look at it, whatever. Long-term thoughts on XRP? I don't have long-term thoughts on speculative momentum-driven assets where there is no mathematical way to gauge their value, literally. Unregulated market, no SEC. No quarterly reports. We got no idea what they're doing, Kyson. Just like any crypto. Maybe if they IPO, Ripple Labs IPOs, then we could talk about long-term outlook maybe based on numbers and revenue and EPS, but they have none of that. So all we do here is just wait for structures to develop after impulses, and then we look at trend analysis, and we try to construct a trading plan that would, if it did play out, it would be greater than 50% chance that it would play out, and then we would have a tight stop, strategic stop, entry with max upside potential, 3-to-1 reward to risk. That's all we do here. So I can give you long-term targets on XRP because, frankly, I don't know and I don't really care. But I'll show you what the target was. Give me 2 seconds here, and I'll show you kind of where I was at on XRP. All right. This is where I was at on XRP. One sec. Gosh dang it. Oh my God. I'm almost there. I got you, dude. He asked me like what I thought, you know, and I'm showing him literally what I thought. God, it's so hard to see in here. It's so bright. This is what I thought. What the heck? Sorry, I got you, dude. Okay, here's this is my, like, what are your thoughts on XRP? My thoughts were XRP, as you can see on screen, was in a downtrend, okay? It was in an already confirmed downtrend. They ran it up to resistance once and twice. As you can see, 262 up there. That was the entry of a short setup with a strategic stop loss placed above that inflection zone. All right, let me show you here on XRP. This level, like it was created back in 2024, and then it was resistance throughout 25. That's why it was a strategic level, okay? And then I figured that we would be going way lower, like target 1 for a short setup, easy to manage risk, right? Optimum entry stop loss and maximum downside potential if it reversed, if it dumped here. 270 or 218 was target 1, and then target 2, 196.66 cents down at the bottom, and lo and behold, we're almost there, dude. We virtually hit target 2, as you can see, but we were just shy by, like, what is that? 197.3, and then 190. I mean, that is less than 1 cent from the exit of the short trade setup, okay? So down here, we'd be waiting for structures to develop that would be indicating that buyers are reassuming control of the asset. We'd be looking for positive price action correlation to the top of the bottom of the range, like above 196. So something like this, if I can show you. We'd be eventually wanting, I mean, if you ever, I'm not saying this is going to happen, okay? I'm saying, like, as a swing position trader, what you would want to see happen is some sort of violation of this level. Oh my God, it's all over. Then the buyers recapture the level. Then they, you know, dump it again, but then a higher low somehow comes in, and then another rally occurs, and then they start testing that level as support again, reconfirming what was once support after violated becomes support again. And then at that point, if that ever happened, it could be very easy to set up an entry, a stop loss, and we know our upside potential would be maximum. So just like we did on the top side, we could do on the bottom side for a long, and then eventually you could do this. And then all of a sudden, that'd be a profit-taking level for a swing trader. But that would have to happen, and we could be done. It could be like that never happens, and like you just finally, it's over for this level after all these tests, and you have to dump to like $1, and then we'll reassess, and we'll be looking for structures to develop that are just like what I just tried to paint right there. So it's not about like my long-term targets. It's about where the structures concluding their development. They need to be at or above supports.
Thanks for your consistent teachings over the years. We appreciate you. As always,
Dow Jones, man.
Peace.
Thank you, Dow Jones, man. Really appreciate the kind words, dude. Okay. Hype in the chat for OX Dow Jones. Not ZRX, right? ZRX alert went off today, too. It got destroyed. Too depressing. You're going to watch a funny movie. Dude, I'm not even trying to be depressing, right? At all. I think if your aptitude's high enough, you understand what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to keep it real. Sorry, I haven't looked at chat enough today because I just thought it was important to get through a lot of these assets. I think we have a couple requests too. Okay. Anyone get what I'm talking about? I just tried to like provide value via education and what we want, not what's going to happen. All right, you see above my head, there's Bitcoin chat at the demand line on the 4-hour. Oh boy, and it's that maybe that horizontal line support resistance from March that maybe they're trying to hold on to. Like all the volume has evaporated because the closing bell, Wall Street's done. Okay. And I mean, we didn't even look at any of the lesser thans on crypto today because I just wanted to go through all the markets so you could see what's happening. I mean, like for instance, my Cardano alert went off. Let's go, dude. Hype in the chat for TA respect. It's terrible. Well, hey, you lose 46, you're going to 41. Waiting on 41. Nothing to do. Just wait. Then if you don't hold 41, you go to 37. Shoot, dude. You lose 37, 32. 27, 24, it's over, dude. So this is like such wonderful TA respect up here. That would have been a great, easy trade setup on a short. Trend is friend. Up thrust, back test of up thrust, even with a local form of confirmation, right at resistance. Easy to set a stop loss, an entry, and max downside potential. And you got it. You got that max downside. So good. Well, Baby Genius, we looked at exhaust, and we looked at diabetes, which was also up. All right, Bitcoin 87.2. They're trying to muster a rally. Let's go, dude. But the problem is, man, like look what they've done. It's like cool that rallies can occur because they just do when supports get hit, when Wall Street closes. Man, but look at the price action correlation on the 4-hour you received at 92.779. You know how long I've had this level here. Like it's been for over a year because it was manufactured last year. So they up thrusted, then they formal bearish back test. That was that was happening, and I think we were all sleeping, but it was a beautiful up thrust back test of up thrust. One high, a second high. It's lower, less market participants involved in Bitcoin than just before. I mean, that is a great short setup continuation trade if we were awake to see the price action there. And look at the drawdown you got. So what happened? They could rally this freaking thing, man. They could do this, dude. Oh my God, is bull market on now, dude? They could do this. They could literally do that, chat. And then all of a sudden it's 3 peaks locally, and it's the worst thing you could ever dreamed of. So that might happen. So don't get like, dude, we're so back. Because on the 4-hour, you got to start making higher highs than previous highs. You hadn't done that at all. Good Lord. Okay, so just keep your hopium stored in the closet still. Cardano was just attacked. What are you talking about? Was it like hacked or whatever? Or like 50% attack? What's up, Deluxe Building? He says, I'm new to your channel as of last night. This is exactly what should be explained. I'm subscribed. Thanks a lot. Keep it real. Good job. Deluxe Building, thank you so much for the feedback, man, and letting me know that you're a new sub and all that. Dude, this channel is literally education-centric of traditional technical analysis, which is a vast, massive field, whatever you want to call it, that is a mix of, I think, the psychology and art, right? Because you're trying to identify structures, you're trying to interpret how is the market perceiving things right now, how's the trend. It all plays into it. And then you got, the math side, the Fibonacci. It's really a lot of pattern recognition. But it's not just like, it's not about, dude, Bitcoin dumped. No, sellers, there were too many sellers and the price of Bitcoin dumped because there were no more bids. There were too many asks, right? People just tend to personify assets, and I really try to ride that home every time I describe when we're looking at assets, that it's the sellers and the buyers doing stuff. It's not Bitcoin. And when you break it down that way, I think it starts to someone newer, starts becoming a more real concept of what we're looking at than just little red and green candles. So anyway, yeah, stick around. I guarantee you, if you keep watching the streams, you will learn something. Okay, you're gonna gain value out of this stream because I don't try to mess around or screw around and just, I don't know, make outlandish predictions about where Bitcoin 200K. There are too many people doing that, so I'll let them do it. Market saturation of prophecies and geniuses. I'll just be the stupid guy that learned from really smart people that put their life's work and research into the field of technical analysis, and I'm just the conduit from them to you. I'm down with that. I'm completely cool not acting like I'm any sort of authority on any subject. I'm just a guy. I'm a redneck from Alabama that likes charts, and I've been studying them for going on 17 years now.
Fearful face, thanks for sharing your TA skills. Have no request that would be teachable for viewers. Keep up the great task streams. Folded hands, medium light skin tone.
USA Moronocracy, thanks for the 20 euros, mate. You have no TA skills. That's okay, man. TA skills, it's just more about being able to read the psychology of buyers and sellers, okay? It's just like anything, any language you're trying to learn, okay? So trend analysis, I think, is like the very beginning. Like that's like the main part. And when Ethereum, like for instance, okay, Ethereum was on a really nice run, right? From the bottom, hit some supports and then broke a supply line. And then, they rallied this thing and they put a higher low in. And that was a key characteristic of the asset that had not been going on for a very long time. And then a higher high came in. And then you could say almost definitively the trend reversed to the upside, because a trend is consecutive higher highs, higher lows on a chart. You were in a downtrend. You were making consecutive lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And then eventually, you would develop this really nice downtrend, and that's a parallel channel tool right there. It conceptualizes the downtrend. But something happened where 1728, these gray zones here are also like inflection points, reversal points from history. They recaptured that level, and then they broke the supply line, and it just kind of went sideways for a while and then busted out, and then the trend had begun to reverse. And so something happened, though, at the top here, like the date of August 24th on Ethereum, you saw an all-time high intraday. My God, they did it, and it was for 5 seconds. And then, they had manufactured this 4750 level. And for real, you had an argument that maybe they were reaccumulating, but you didn't really know that you were screwed on this until probably the sell-off in late September, and that's when things started changing. They rallied it, but you can see what happened psychologically speaking. Here was the highest point we saw of the run, of the whole run, right? And then the sellers took over. The buyers attempted again to push the price to rival that high, and they failed once. Then a lower low came in the previous lows, and then a form of confirmation occurred where that same 47.49 level was tested as resistance, and one high and the second high were both lower than the highest high. That represents less than before. No one knows the first time. The second time confirms that less than before. And from that point, you had a massive drawdown to just completely and utterly confirm a downtrend at that point. Okay, they took it down to the next support, largest liquidation event in history, and then another little rally occurred, but it was pathetic. It was the lowest high of the newly pronounced downtrend. Okay, and then they started chopping around. There was such a lack of demand. Think about 4384 is a historical level from 2021, an old all-time high from May 2021. That was it, man, right there. They reversed it first time ever. So there was such a lack of demand that the buyers, when they came in, they could not even push the price of the asset to test 43.84. And then a dump occurred again. And then another rally. And it was a slightly lower high than the previous high. But both of these highs, just like here, the confirmation, this A and C point, these were both forms of confirmation that there were less market participants involved again with Ethereum. And at that point, that was when it was like, man, this is where we got a bearish wave structure, started painting the idea. If you go back to the streams, you'll be able to see where I posted this. And it's like, this is probably your target area, 1618, 3000 lines up pretty perfectly. But now they're losing that. And there's something called a harmonic optimum price. This is a harmonic. It's an M shape. These are advanced technical analysis structures that are highly reliable when identified properly. And when you have confirmation and you have an edge. But again, it was just like an idea of like you were already in a downtrend and you were identifying a bearish wave structure at the time. And that played out brilliantly. So it was able to help us. Technical analysis can help you save money, protect your capital. Where you see confirmation highs that are lower than the previous highs after making lower lows and lower highs before, that's like, okay, man, it might be a good idea to just not own Ethereum. To just say, nah, I'm done. I'll wait for higher highs, higher lows to come in, because it looks like the sellers have taken control of the momentum of this asset. So you saw a huge flush again, and look where we are. We're at the lowest lows of this newer downtrend, this downtrend you have been in now, confirmed pretty much since early October before the liquidation event. So that's like kind of the stuff I try to teach here. I know that's a lot, but anyway. Paul, what's the best quote? What are you talking about? CLF got request. Yeah, dude, let me look at that real quick. Sorry, dude. CLF, real quick. That's Cleveland Cliffs Incorporated. I don't like it below 1284, 1239. But yeah, you'd be like, is that numbers head and shoulders? Maybe. Got to go the weekly on this, though. CLF, what was the reason for wanting to see it? Did you say anything else at all? CLF. Weekly, CLF. That's it. He didn't give Reb a reason. There's an M shape. Certainly there was an M shape. Yeah, absolute big M shape. I'll paint it real quick if you want to see it. It's like, but, man. It's like a Gartley, 886 Gartley. It's beautiful M shape for sure. And you did catch a formal reaction, right? So it's a real pattern now, confirmed. But we would want a type 2 return of this asset. You want to get, you always want the reaction, and then you want the reversal. And then we could start talking about some good, if we get a retest of $6, then we can start talking about good stuff, right? Because look at this. You always want the second test, man. Just like Exos, Exact Sciences. Remember, this was a dealer's choice. Y'all were asking me, what you should pick one. Okay, I picked this one. It's the same thing. You get a type 1 reaction, the M shape completes, you get that first reaction, and then a sell-off and a retest. And sometimes, even on this type 2, the return, the second test, you get local forms of confirmation before the run. So that's what we would want to see on Cleveland Cliffs if we were blessed enough to receive it. Like, it may not happen. I'm just telling you, if you want to take action with an edge, an actual edge, and be able to strategize the stop loss entry with good upside, you would want to retest the $6, which means, like, crazy enough, you may never get it, but you'd have to lose 44% of your value to be able to get an opportunity that is of maximum quality with the harmonic framework. So that's your CLF. Go me. I don't know if that helps, man. But again, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying that's what we would want to happen. It's a framework that exists that will never change. It's the same thing over and over and over again. You want Exos. You want it on ACHR, right? You wanted it on every single asset you could ever dream of. You get the type 1, and then you get the type 2. The confirmation low, slightly lower low is even better. That's why I really like TNDM. because you got that lower low double bottom. I think characteristic, and Thomas Bulkowski, if you watch the stream a lot, I've said it. Thomas Bulkowski has researched double bottoms, and he has through his research concluded that lower low double bottoms perform the best. So you have a potential lower, just like ACHR was a lower low double bottom. This is a lower low double bottom, but on the monthly, and you have bullish divergence. Sellers are exhausted on both oscillators. You have U-shaped volume signature, which is when a pattern begins its development. You lose volume until the conclusion of the pattern begins. Then the volume begins to rally again. You get higher volume towards the end. That's exactly what ACHR had. It had its own U-shaped volume signature, but it wasn't the monthly, of course. It was the, I think maybe the weekly. It's hard to see now, but at one point it was U-shaped, and then it became insane because it's really hard to see because the volume now, the way they scale this, you can barely see it. This is the only way I can show you. There was, back in the time when we were identifying all this, there was U-shaped volume, and then little did we know that, oh wow, like the volume was gonna go insane after going forward. It was gonna be like you would never see this low of volume again on this asset when the pattern concluded, but it was already beginning to rally, and then all this came after it. So it's just phenomenal to see. We put on a freaking seminar for harmonic trading. This is the bullish Gartley, and you want patterns to conclude their development at trading range bottoms. So you see how the M-shape began its development below this low from February 2022. They rallied, and then they created the level, and then they reconfirmed this old support as support again, not once but twice. Confirmation low. They call that the type 2 return. Type 1 reaction, type 2 return, and then resolution after. And now it's been doing kind of nothing. I mean, making fresh higher highs, but kind of like Bitcoin, where it's just like, who cares? Higher high for a day and it's done. Yep. Anyway, Bitcoin still down 4.69% off the lows a little bit, Dude, Martin M. What the? Let's go, Martin.
Martin M tipped $100. Hey, buddy. Thanks again for the education you provided us every day. Could you take a look at Zcash Sec on Binance when you can?
Zcash. Yeah, dude. Thanks so much for the $100 contribution. That's the largest.
This is the worst crypto bull market ever. BTC did nothing all year. Can you take a look at XLRE on the monthly?
Mr. Singh, what's up, dude? Thanks so much, Mr. Singh, the 20 worst bull market ever. Yeah, I mean, for crypto, absolutely. You want to look at the real estate market? Sure, we'll look at that, dude. Absolutely. So, JG. So I'm just reading a little chat because I went on an educational sermon right there. I blacked out a little bit. Now I'm back. So yeah, Nvidia pretty much Marbazoo. Yeah, as close as it gets. All right. Thanks again, Martin, man. And Mr. Singh, back to back. Hypage. But I don't think anyone's going to be beating on the week Vincent. He's at 249.82 for super chat, and then top tipper is Gomi at 184.28. If you don't know, top left, those throughout the week. So like if you tip, like it will add up. It's additive. So those are the largest contributors of the week, Vincent and Gomi. Let's see here. Was there another request that I'd missed, maybe? No, we looked at those. So then we got, I guess, Zcash. I guess Zcash would be where we're going now. Up 4.2% up, dude. It's crazy, man. It's just wild. I mean, this will end at some point, but look how they're respecting this channel. This is all I got, man. Like there's no, like, again, you're impulsing, you're in an uptrend, hard to really manage your risk on an asset that's so anomalous like this. You just have no idea when the anomalous aspect of the chart will reverse violently. Or if Bitcoin, hey dude, lowest level, lowest relative strength on the daily we've seen since February. It's a spring coil, man. They might just pop this thing to 91K, and what happens if Zcash just starts literally inverse correlating and dumps, man? It's just, but what a trend, man. It's been so spectacular. I mean, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's up against that channel supply line again. 738 is everything. If you break 738, there's just, I don't think there's anything really there, like till 1600. I mean, if you break 738, let's just say 800, because psychologically, that's the 8s and the 0s. All right, 800, so that's a zone. If they break 800 for real, dude, I mean, $1,000, $999.99 would be your target, and like pseudo price discovery, it's phenomenal. And there's just really nothing out there in crypto like this outside of maybe Dash is something, and Monero and R coin. Any privacy coins are like the meta right now. You just don't know how long they will remain the meta. But it's been methodical, man, since October 1st. It's like they turned on the Zcash switch when Q4 began. Wow. New quarter, new price action, that's for sure. Yeah, there you go, my man. On Binance, we're on Bitfinex. Does it matter? I mean, Bitfinex, Binance. Hold on, let me. I can go to that one. Binance. Let's do Binance for him. Any change? No. Bitfinex, I guess, had more down. I don't even know. I mean, like, there was $1,600+ on Bitfinex, and it only goes to 300 here. I'm pretty sure Zcash did go higher, but all right. If you look at the Binance chart, it's price discovery, but we had more data on the other one. I could just paint again that really nice channel. Can't remember. Yeah, it was on the bottom side. It's really pretty here. I don't know. I guess we would just anchor here, candle close, because you get heartline respect on the bottom. So, and good respect on the top right there. So I guess that's how we could try to have it plotted in this scenario on the Binance chart. $700 right now. It looks like there's a sell wall. Okay, a definite local sell wall right at 748. Okay, 750 or so. You break that, hey man, maybe good things are coming, but that's the level to break. 748, 750. Okay. Cartel Money, dude, what was it? Cartel Money was funding like UTEP's, University of Texas El Paso's NIL program or something for football. Like, unbelievable. I didn't read into it too much. I just saw like the headline. It was just wild. Cartels getting involved with college football. All right, let's see. Next request was actually Excel Re. Emphasis on the Re. Real estate sector, S&P. Very bad, boys. Whoa. Dude. I had not looked at it in a minute, but it really is.
Very bad, boys. Very bad.
And I'll show you another one that looks terrible, too. Like, not terrible as in where the price is now, but like the price action you have been receiving lately locally is not great, man. Excel Re. Okay, anything below $42 is bad. Very, very bad. They've already lost it. Okay, think about what's happening. Think about the psychology of the buyers and the sellers. That's all we were thinking about. So they rallied this thing up off the lows in September of last year. They confirmed actually less than we saw in August 2022, a lower high, and then a drawdown, and then a rally, and then a lower high than previous highs. Such a lack of demand that no longer could the buyers go test key supports from 2021. And then a crash. You crashed in April, right? That was a tariff crash. But look at the recovery, a V-shaped recovery. But understand, keep paying attention, thinking about psychology of buyers and sellers. they're at the highest point of this whole recovery was in July, and they got it to nearly $43. But $43 is substantially lower than $43.86. So another lower high got put in. So one high, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and now you are trading below $42, which is another extremely important level, March 2020. To lose that, the worst. And most recently, what happened was bad stuff, man. Dumped on high volume. And look at this rally. They took it to the 200 simple moving average. There's such a lack of demand on the asset that the buyers were unable to even go test $42 as resistance. Lack of demand, that's like a sign of weakness when they're unable to do that on their rallies. And this low is lower than this low locally. And now you just made the lowest daily candle close on XLRE since April 21st, soon approaching the 420 support resistance. Not a joke. September 2019, it was a reversal point. As you can see, it was a reversal point in 2024. So if you lose that, I mean, we could almost I could work on a Wyckoff distribution schematic right here, and this would in fact be some sort of last point of supply. So you're in the final phase of Wyckoff distribution. And if you lose 40.21, well, I got really bad news. Historically, what happens if you lose 420? You go to $35. So looking really bad lately locally on XLRE. I'm just being real with price action. The trend is not your friend. You cannot make higher highs, higher lows. And locally, you're now making lower highs. Now you're making a lower low. Multi-month lows. The RSI looks terrible. You're just sitting at 38. You are in the bearish control zone by 2 points. So the downside potential is massive before you see the oversold threshold. So it would make all the sense in the world. It's like the RSI is virtually set up for way lower if they want to do it. So to me, XLRE looks terrible, Mr. Singh. Looks terrible. Does that make sense? It reminds me of the SCHD, which is the Charles Schwab U.S. Dividend Equity ETF, which should be like, what? Dividends, bro, should be great right now. No, dude, look at this. So the same distribution, offloading, lower highs since November of last year. Look what they've done, though. The V-shape and then just this methodical rally all year of 2025 from the high point to low point. What'd you do? 78, 80% retrace. That's a deep retrace. They topped it out significantly lower than the previous high. And remember, it's almost like a little fractal going on where you had, you see this? Left shoulder, head, and then look, this little right shoulder before massive drawdown. You got the same type of price action going on, but think more, so a potential head and shoulders is here. It would be confirmed below 26.33, but think about what they did on this right shoulder. The old all-time high from January 2022, you see the reversal there? That has been confirmed as resistance and gave you that left shoulder, head, right shoulder. The momentum has shifted into the hands of the sellers. That's what a head and shoulders pattern is, psychologically speaking. And then look what they did today. They completely lost the 200-day simple moving average. It's down sloping. You were formerly below $27, which could have also been a potential support resistance. It's just a zone, so you can just plot it almost like this. I do inflection zones with the gray, what's it called? The gray rectangle extend out. You can just see how it is. You're just trading below all of it. And all of this is lower than the previous peak we saw, and that's bad. That's very bad. So downside potential on the SCHD, minimum maybe 25.90, but just think about a measured move here of a head and shoulders. If it actually turned out to be this way, it would take you down to 24.50, and you know what would happen at 24.50, 100% measured move? I'll show you what would happen. This would happen, and it would be freaking insane. It'd be a freaking bullish shark pattern. No way. And then a reaction could occur at that point, right? Then they react, and then you get a type 2 return, and then that's where you could maybe get an edge on the market for a long setup. Because then after the type 2 return, you typically get something like this. But yeah, it's setting up like you've completed the X, the A, the B, and the C And now the C to D wave is ongoing, and the C to D wave is, in fact, larger, the larger wave, and that's what would take you down way lower. Okay, so anyway, that's your SCHD. I thought that was interesting. It piqued my interest when you brought up, when I saw XLRE, I'm like, wait a second. The SCHD is very similar.
At Vincent Lechapilla 7432 super chatted $35.75. Hey Mitch, can you look at Creek weekly and monthly? Thanks a lot, Ogden.
Dude, Vincent, thanks so much, dude. Did that put you over 300? I don't know if you know updates fast or not. 285.57 on the week, I believe. Thanks so much, dude. Hi in the chat for Vincent. Thanks for 35. CRK. Yeah, we're going to CRK, man. Definitely do that. Yeah, we checked gold and silver. We didn't check the other metals, though. 13. Red 13? Final Fantasy or something? No, couldn't be. All right, CRK for Vincent. Let's do it, man. On-demand request. Thank you so much, dude. Top tipper on the week. Top contributor to this 100% crowdsourced community. If you're new, I don't monetize. I never have. No ads, whether you have YouTube Premium or not. No affiliate marketing links shoved down your throat for scam exchanges. None, ever. Never accepted a sponsorship from any entity to promote to you, the viewing audience, ever. 100% crowdsourced. The only sponsors of this channel are you, the viewer. That's it. That's how it's been for almost 8 years now. And that's all voluntary. All right, Comstock Resources. Let's see. What a nice run, but it's been in a good trend for a while, but as it stands right now, I don't really know what you could do here. Maybe wait for a back test of 20. 20 bucks is a big deal, isn't it? Psychologically, it's a reversal point from 2015. Right there. But also, it's $20 to $22, really. It's a big inflection zone. So like that, okay. So maybe you could wait for a pullback. I mean, it's doing well, but man, not even bearish divergence. It's bullish convergence technically. But if you ever wanted to like strategize, like you'd want to see something like this come in, maybe a third valley. Then you could start constructing a trading plan here when you see more than before, higher lows coming in. But also, it's not just about the higher lows. It's about you want to see positive price action correlation to a support resistance where you've broken it. That's great. But typically, market participants love testing a level they've broken. And when they broke this level, they never tested it. So I would want to wait for that at some point. Even if they violate it, they might be able to put in a higher low than the previous low and then recapture it and then start correlating positively. And then at that point, that's when I'd start looking to maybe long an asset in an uptrend. But not right now. You would want it to pull back a little. Okay, it's always about horizontal line supports. You always want to have that involved, if you can, with your argument for taking along, and you're not at those levels, and you haven't. You need to retest them. So, CRK for Vincent, man. But great. Anything above 20 bucks, 22 bucks, really 22 bucks, given enough time. I mean, I could say that there's a swing high right here at 27 bucks, and then above that, swing high at like 34 bucks. So those would be like some target areas. They might even run it up 27 bucks before pulling back. But yeah, you've been uptrending, man. Wingsuits? What's a wingsuit? What are you talking about? Base jumping? Yeah, Walmart did very well. It had been confirming its highest low ever, kind of. And then even did a little bit of liquidity grabbing, stop loss hunting before going nuts today. Yeah, Walmart, man. Look at this. Just wild. Burp. Gotta really love how the ascending triangle, they broke out and they back tested twice. And again, that was the highest low in the history of Walmart, 1 and 2. And yeah, I mean, amongst one of your highest daily closes you've ever seen, but extremely defensive and broke through 105. That's really nice. So you're just uptrending, man. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows lately, locally. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 109 plus if the market conditions continue to deteriorate. If that's how they were going to do it, they bamboozled everyone, right? Where it was like, good earnings, Nvidia saved the market, it saved the world, man. We're all going to be fine. Send it to all time, and then they do what they did today. And if they probably trapped so many people, they probably got so much liquidity. I mean, today could have very well could be what you would define as a buyer-inducing rally, where gap ups, huge play. Oh my God, jobs reports, everything's great at 10 a.m. this morning. I mean, the world is, and then it literally reverses within an hour or two, and then you're at lows of day, and then you bearishly engulf, and then you're 2-3% lower than you were at open when you were up 6%, Nvidia. So I think some people got trapped today, and I don't know if they're going to be allowed to make a comeback. I don't know if they're going to push the price back up. What's up, 13? Palladium. Hey, look, Palladium. Palladium's great, man. Palladium's a long-term thing. It's the trend is reversed on it. Oops, wrong. Palladium. Oh, XPD, right? That's the one I look at. XPD. Right? Hold on. Let me get on my commodities chart. XPD. It does look like a little, like they could be pulling it back a little bit more. XPD down 0.63%. Yeah, I mean, they could take this to 1269, to be real, because now you're getting...
At Vincent Lechapelle, 7432 super chatted $35.75.
Boom.
PHX. And for education, RRC Weekly, is that a big cup and handle?
I don't know. Is it? Yeah, dude, we'll look at RRC. There it is. Vincent eclipsed $300 on the week. Thank you so much, dude. The top supporter of this 100% crowdsourced community. Thank you, dude. You are the king. So Palladium, of course, like the composite operator, acquired a position. You got the sign of strength, the backup, and then the form of confirmation. That's each arrow is the sign of strength, the backup, then the form of confirmation. That is those are the three things that occur in Wyckoff accumulation. At the conclusion of Wyckoff accumulation, the three arrows, the three events. Again, sign of strength is when you break through the trading range top. The backup is when they at least either back test that key breakout level or they fall below it and put in a higher low. And then the form of confirmation is when buyers rally it again and then they break and run through the trading range top and then make a higher high than the backup. So that all happened. But you see they upthrusted through a very key zone of inflection. Like 2019, that's such a big deal, man. Like there's gonna be supply. There was supply there, right? And now you got gold and silver that have just gone on these crazy runs, and the macro is starting to look kind of crap for equities. Risk off, everything off really. VIX spiking, hitting its highest level since April, or near it anyway. And now you've got a little bit of negative price action correlation to 1500. A couple local failures from buyers to run it higher. The buyers tested 1500. It was resistance once, then twice. Bearish engulfing, caught follow through. And now you're going for the lowest daily candle close since October 7th. So over, 6-week lows on Palladium in 2 minutes and change when this candle closes on the daily. So you could be looking at either 1338 for a test, or you could be looking at 1250 again for a test. But even if they lost 1250, understand trend analysis, they could take this asset down to frickin' $1,100. And as long as it makes a higher low than the previous discernible swing low, your uptrend is still intact. So I would just say after failing 1500 like this, you might be looking on deck for 1269 for a test. You might be, yeah. Okay. So not very good price action locally at a level that is very, very real. Again, it's not a joke. It's not my opinion. They just exist from 2020. Okay, so that's what I got for now, Palladium. Maybe it's going to pull back some after that, the arrows. But those arrows become completely invalid. If the bidding starts coming in, we start taking out 1500, 1583. Oh my God, 1853 is the next big target. So, all right, Palladium kind of looking a little cooked right here, but that's how it is. Again, psychology of buyers and sellers and how they correlate at these inflection points that are historical. Okay. You know, we've been going, man. I've been live almost 2 hours now. Like that. Time flies when you're looking at charts. And there goes my last sip of coffee. Uh-oh. Yikes. Irwin coffee. It's great, man, but it's always unfortunate. The last drop is the most somber of drops of coffee because you know you're done. You got no more coffee after that. Yeah, Mara, all the miners and crypto-related, crypto-adjacent, crypto-peripheral stocks in shambles. Yeah, man. It was a bubble. Turns out it was. But yeah, trying to read some chat. Not too much going on in here. Chat's not that active. Probably. Oops. You know, it's now 5 p.m. Eastern, so that means that all the futures market has stopped trading for the next 60 minutes. So this is going to be like the lowest liquidity time. But ironically, this is in this period, this 60-minute period is exactly when you had the largest meltdown liquidation event in the history of crypto, October 10th. It was between 5 and 6 p.m. when there was no futures trading. And I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. Nothing like that, dude. Okay. Angry Bulla, what's up, dude?
Angry Abuela tip $25. Did I miss you going over X's? I never hear you promote the supporter level, but for the $20 a month. Everyone watching should at least sigh up. Best $20 exclamation mark subscription I have ever had.
Angry Bulla, thanks for the 25 and the advocacy for the supporting. Yeah, you can do that in the Discord. I don't really even know. I don't think you get like the trade setups or anything or the access to the premium Discord. But yeah, it's a good way to like support. But I mean, whatever. It's all good either way, dude. I'll be fine. It's just yeah, we did look at Exos, Exact Sciences, that was up 17% today, but on the week up 50%, and it was the one, man. It was the dreamiest of dreams of the harmonic framework. It was here, hand delivered to you on a silver platter at dealer's choice, and we're saying $100 target, and it hit today. And it's spectacular, man. And 120 would be your next target if they kept it going. I mean, just such a dream. Medical specialties. So thank you, dude, for the support. Really appreciate it. Yeah, waiting on entries. Yeah, but it's going to take a minute, man. I mean, think about like an entry on Exos. I mean, think about the size of the structure. It took literally like 1,000 days for it to become like exceptional. You knew you had an edge. That second low came in. The bullish divergence became evident right here. I mean, it just takes time, man. And a lot of scanning to a lot of different charts. And then the macros got to be like, okay. I mean, it's kind of wild that this thing did what it did on such a bad macro bamboozling day. But yeah, Mag 7, NVIDIA on the weekly here. That bearish engulfing candle, unfortunately, catch and follow through now. Wow. Yeah, big bearish engulfing candle at the 1618, and now you're getting a follow through. If they close this below the open of this candle at 188, I'm sorry, the close of this candle, it's going to be a confirmed bearish engulfing candle, and it's coming all after bearish divergence on the weekly. Bearish divergence on the MACD histogram on the weekly is your negative momentum's now beginning to build. Closed down 3.15%, is down another 0.3% after hours. So not great. I mean, like no one's like coming into bid after hours. So definitely concerning. This is where, you know, like tops can occur up here. Look, you had this very similar type bearish divergence on the oscillators at the top of this rising wedge. It did play out wonderfully. You did get three falling peaks even too, if you remember when we were analyzing this back in February, and it was cool to see it play out. So you kind of got a little bit more of that exhaustion up here. I don't even know if it's going to need to take out the low of 164, but it looks like you do have some good downside. And they could still put it in the highest low ever, which would be freaking nuts. All right, chat, you've kind of like collapsed on me. So when chat kind of collapses, I don't really have much else I can do. And I've looked at all these assets, man. I've gone across the markets. I've done education, lots of education, hopefully today. Hopefully someone out there learns something. But yeah, we're in a pretty precarious spot on Bitcoin at the bottom of that channel. It doesn't even look like it on the daily. It looks like you're breaking it on the daily still. You see that? Look how close we are, man. Wow. Just right at it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the market's closed. Liquidity is going to be really light right now. That easily could push this thing up in the next 55 minutes before futures opens. And there could be favorable price. Asia could come in and start bidding it, man. You're at the extremely oversold threshold of this downtrend. In a parallel channel tool that I use that conceptualizes the trend you're in. You see the lower highs, lower lows, anchoring on the top side, anchor point 1 and 2, and then anchor point 3 was just here, and you even had 4 anchor points total. That was really nice. And then from now we're seeing a test of it, and a parallel channel tool that conceptualizes the downtrend. The top side is the supply line, the bottom is the demand line, and the bottom trend line of the parallel channel tool in a downtrend would be considered the oversold threshold. That's certainly in line with the relative strength index, which is currently, if you don't know, you're just tuning in, we're at 25. We are so close to actually even getting lower than like February of 2025 when we crashed. I think from 100K to, yeah, right here. It crashed, man. I mean, you had a literal crash. It dropped 15%. Let's just say from that markdown, 20% in 5 days. That is where, I mean, that 20% in 5 days is insane. So that's where the RSI is right now. Rivaling that. So anyway, your oversold threshold of your downtrend. So maybe some bids come in if you're fortunate. Can't be surprised. I mean, my God, dude. They've killed this thing. Mr. Snickers, carrot. That's just going to be a scam coin, dude. Oh, RRC, Vincent. My bad, dude. My bad. Let's... RRC. Let's do this thing. Range Resources Corporation. Okay. That's a nasty candle today. Yikes. But scale out. It's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Last time I was here, we had some sort of... I duplicated my... ended up having a down-sloping consolidation structure that resolved really nice. Uptrend. The trend is such a nice trend, man. Higher highs, higher lows for a very long time. The highest low of uptrend going on. But yeah, down 2.87% today. I don't really see you at any sort of strategic level. Yeah, I mean, typically this is not an area where big reversals occur. I would say maybe the swing high here. 37.29. I guess if you're above that, you're above the 200 moving average. Everything's good there. You know, you think about this could be like XABC. C point. The 886 would take you up to 42.68. This is where you could target. I'm sure there's like a channel we could plot here maybe too. Not really sure how it would go. Something like this maybe. Yeah, I don't know, man. There was an M shape that completed. Yeah, I mean, I think 37.29 is your big level. Below it, you'd be running to 34.70. I don't think the trend is in jeopardy until they lose 34.40 or 32.79. I don't know if it's like a good buy right now, like strategically, because it's always about like the strategy involved. Like, okay, why would I long here? Well, there's got to be a reason. Okay, good trend, but is a good trend enough? Because they're confirming, you know, they just kind of rejected this local high from October 7th. And the high from May of 2024. So, yeah, I guess like you could go long on it, but it's not going to be like a swing trade where we're applying like the framework that has all the variables. So you'd just be going long on an asset that's in an uptrend, a really nice uptrend for a long time since the COVID crash. Yeah, and so you're probably like, dude, is that a coupled handle? Maybe. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, man. Wow. Extend this out. Not quite. You are now. The problem is, like, from the previous high to the low, where are you? You're hitting 88% retrace. So it's like, I mean, that's some premium up there on a run that's been going on for 5 years. So, but I mean, the trend is so good. I think you're golden on this until you lose like 32.90, the previous low on the weekly. But yeah, you're late. You're very, very late to the game here when you're hitting the deepest retrace in the previous high to low. Like that's like a sale for short sellers. Just like, dang man, deep value for a short here. But again, it's been uptrending. It still isn't an uptrend, so that it's not a bearish trend or anything. Yeah, it's good, but you're just late. I mean, the time to like this a lot was probably back here in 2023 when they had recaptured this key inflection zone, and then they re-regarded it as support so many times and held it. It was just a kind of buying zone. They never lost it, and then it rallied again, but it's not been performing too great. I mean, like, think about it. It's trading at the same price it was trading at over 3 years ago. I mean, it's great. It's good it's making higher lows, but the higher highs are just like infinitesimal. So again, it's not a great sign when you're the same price you were 3 years ago in the same trend. Okay, so yeah, it's okay. I don't really see much besides good higher highs, higher lows, but at value perceived areas for short sellers. This is where you could correct for a while. You could pull back even. So anyway, my music stopped, I think. It did. Excuse me. Bitcoin 87.7, only down 4.1% now. Oh my God, is the bear market over? No. But again, that demand line of the channel, they're holding it, and it would be very easy to hold here because they're not, I mean, you don't have any pressure from short sellers on the futures market, no Wall Street. This is literally I don't know, this is like the best time for any sort of little rally to occur due to that. It's 60 minutes long, and you got like 47 minutes left till futures reopen. So just hanging on by an effing thread right here while seeing the lowest RSI since since February. Oh, it's lagging. What the heck? Just trying to look at some chat real quick. What's up, Snow Goose? Do we not have 369 likes? That's pathetic. Wow. All right, Bitcoin 87.8. Off the lows, man. 2 tests of that demand line. What's up, Tom? Tom Crown of the house. Good to see you, man. Yeah, the dumpage doesn't stop. It hasn't anyway, but another hopium level to smoke on right here, the pipe. Plane coming. Yeah, dude, Jonathan, that was close, wasn't it? It was very close, man. So, look, dude, we've been live over 2 hours now. We're in the very, very chill time. The chillest time we could ever get every day. So, I guess we'll reassess later. But, yeah, I really appreciate everyone coming out. Thanks for the likes, love, support, contributions, everything in between. It was the worst day for the NASDAQ in a couple months, I believe. It was a bamboozling of all bamboozlings today, where everything started out great this morning, and then they reversed it all. The VIX spiked to nearly the highest level we had seen since April, and you did put in a lower high again on these index funds in the futures. So classic distribution could be actually real on lesser time scales. And then Michael Burry would be good, right? His whole short would play out. So thank each and every one of you for coming out. Vincent, thanks so much for being the session top, weekly top. Jesus, Gomi, top tipper, and everyone else. So join the Discord if you haven't. It's free to join the Discord. There's educational resources in there. So if you're looking to learn more about traditional technical analysis, we got it, man. Educational resource tab for free in the Discord. And if you have questions, you can ping me. Not like crazy. Just ping me if you have a question about just rudimentary technical analysis stuff. I'll do what I can to help, or someone else in the community will also be happy to help. So I'll be back. Till next time, respect the T. A.
Meltdown.